Ooh, yeah, we get to make an unexpected windfall. Love it. Oh, wait. Wow, we don't even it's a copy. We don't even have to discard. Oh, that's so good. Wow, that is awesome. Today on Commander Replay, it gets a little chilly in here as we check out this Icingdeath Frost Tyrant deck. Next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, there's two great ways to support the channel. All links are in the description below. Welcome back everyone, playing some Icingdeath Frost Tyrant today, and today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter Fish. Let's take a look at this opener. Mangara's card draw, which is hard to come by in white, it doesn't ramp exactly. Catastrophe is ridiculous. I guess we keep this. I was talking to Kristen about this card, she's been running it, and she said it's always good. Either you need to blow up the creatures, or if you're ahead, you blow up the lands, and you've got yourself a little win condition right there. Hopefully we get a look at it today. It's not a card that I've played very much. There's a Bonder's Enclave. I just added that one to the deck a second ago, because one, there were a few cards that weren't available on Magic Online, and two, I felt like another land or two was definitely going to help this deck along. Our Commander's 4, we now have 4 mana, so we can at least cast our Commander. We'll probably go for the Mangara first. Maybe we'll go for the Commander first just to eat the early removal, then go for the Mangara. I think I like that play better. Unless someone like runs away with fast mana and is like clearly on 2 spells a turn very quickly. Ew, that's a Mox Amber. No love for that. I guess this doesn't make mana just yet. Soonish though. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Blackblade Reforged. Play the land, play the Blackblade Reforged. There's not a lot of mystery about what this deck is trying to do. It's slam Icingdeath, slam a bunch of equipment, get there as quick as possible. Let's take a read of our commander. It's Icingdeath Frost Tyrant. 4 mana for a 4/3 with Flying and Vigilance. And when it dies, create Icingdeath Frosttongue, a legendary white equipment artifact token with equipped creature gets +2/+0, and whenever equipped creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls, and it equips for 2. That ability is better than you think. If you go back about 4 years on the channel, back before Commander really started to speed up a lot, there's a Ruby Medallion coming in. I used to run Small Avacyn, the 5-mana Avacyn, that has Flying and Vigilance, and back then, just a 5-mana creature with Flying and Vigilance, you strap some equipment to it, and the commander damage would pile up on 1 or 2 players very quickly. Getting all 3 players would definitely take a little while, but so Icingdeath being essentially the same thing, except cheaper to cast and has that death trigger, it's really a much better commander than I think most people give it credit for. Now, I will say that like mono white Voltron is a fairly crowded space at this point, so maybe it has that working against it, but I've seen Fish play this deck a few times, and usually around turn 6, she's threatening to kill someone with it, so yeah, we'll see how things go today. We draw a Wandering Archaic. What's the other side of this thing do? Each player looks at the top 5 cards of the library, may reveal a land or instant from among them. We'll try to get the Wandering Archaic. Seems like a good idea. We'll get the Bonder's Enclave right here, just in case of a wheel or something wacky like that. Nothing we can do with 3. We'll pass. Opponent got themselves a Falconwrath Exterminator on their last turn, and also a Sylvan Caryatid came in. Exterminator over to Asgard. I've also been really surprised about how effective the equipment token actually is, because once you have a Flying Vigilant creature, there aren't usually tons of flyers in a game at the table, so being able to tap down one of them means that opponent probably doesn't have a flying blocker. Sure, there are some exceptions, but, I'd say 80% of the time, most people don't have more than one flying blocker. So you're free to just waltz in and get the damage going. Opponent plays a Faithless Looting, loots a Glorybringer and a Dragon's Approach. This is a Dragon's Approach deck, by the way. We will want to find something to shut off them from casting a bunch of spells. There are a couple cards in the deck for it. I added a Silence, I added a Rule of Law, and I added Deafening Silence, I think. And that was based on some of the card slots the cards that just don't exist on Magic Online, unfortunately. And most of those happen to be the white ramp and card draw cards that have been printed over the past few years, which is so frustrating. Archaeomancer's Map was one of those cards. Ooh, that's an Endless Horizon. Maybe we just go for that? Let's get the Endless Horizon. The question is, how many lands do you go for with this thing? That's like 6 or 7. That feels pretty good to me. I want to leave some in the deck for like Sword of the Animist, Hearth and Home, any of that sort of stuff. Also, you don't want to go all of them just in case this gets blown up. This is a card that I really haven't played much over the years. In my opinion, I think it was better in years past. I think it's a little slow at 4 mana, especially when you look at like Smothering Tithe. I mean, Smothering Tithe's a crazy card, and is probably one of the most busted white cards ever printed, aside from Stax Pieces. And, Endless Horizon just isn't that. If you guys go look at all of my decks, it's clear that I would rather run a Hedron Archive than an Endless Horizon, and I'd rather run a Thran Dynamo over both of those. Falcon Wrath Exterminator coming our way. Yep. There's a Bruse Tarl in play. It does have double strike. That's going to hit us twice, get us for 5, and get 2 counters on this thing. I really like this deck that Ponycorn's playing. They've played it on the channel a bunch of times. It's Bruse and Ravos, Mardu +1/+1 counters. It's a pretty cool deck. I like that, one, it's combat-centric. It's all about putting +1/+1 counters on stuff, so things get big really quickly, especially with like Bruse and double strike. When Necropolis Regent comes in, things are massive. And what I like, too, is that I like that it's a deck that's not doing the most obvious thing. It has a very specific plan about what it wants to do, and it forgoes a lot of staple creatures, and there's just something about that that I like a lot that I think is really cool. Opponent does some stuff. They get their commander into play, and they also get this Birds of Paradise. Yep, those are both good. Endless Horizon trigger. We'll go always yes. Get a Plains. Plains in hand. There's a Wall of Omens. Play a Plains. Let's go for the Wandering Archaic here, because I think that maybe does something against a bunch of spells and whatever. Actually, yeah, I think this is very reasonable against the Dragon's Approach combo because there's an Athreos. If they don't have infinite mana, every time they cast one, we cast one. Bruse Tarl over to D-Manny. 4/4 over to Asgard. Continuing on our opponents, in the middle we've got Asgard Iron piloting Carah, Dragon's Approach. And Carah's a very interesting one. 5 mana, 3/3. Tap it to do 1 damage to any target. Whenever it or an instant or sorcery spell you control deals damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. So it's not terribly difficult to see where that deck is going. Unexpected Windfall. Ooh, into the Wandering Archaic. We get to use... Ooh, yeah. We get to make an Unexpected Windfall. Love it. Sun Titan Palace Jailer. Those are cards. Discard the Savine's Reclamation because we don't really have anything to do with it yet. Oh, wait. Wow, we don't even it's a copy. We don't even have to discard. Oh, that's so good. Wow, that is awesome. That makes me so happy. D-Manny is offering us a copy of Decimate. D-Manny says we can kill his commander, we can't kill the shaman. I'm like, okay, that's fine. God, we got 2 treasures off that thing too. Man, copying that Windfall is so good. I gotta start running this card more. Maybe a touch slow at 5 mana, but once it's in, it's pretty nasty against certain types of decks. Like, it's just really good against spells, basically. If you copy 2 halfway decent spells, that's just beautiful. Especially in mono white, where you just have, like, limited access to a lot of stuff. You know, like, even if you catch a Cultivate with this thing, I'd be perfectly happy with a Cultivate. I do think that our Endless Horizon may not be long for this world. He's going to blow up our Endless Horizon. It's a good thing we didn't go all of them. Yep, there's a Decimate. We get to copy the Decimate. Opponent's going to cast You Find Some Prisoners and exile the top 3 cards of our library. They can cast one of them. Notably, that's another Wandering Archaic trigger. And they're going to let us use it. Love it. Oh, man. Whose deck do we want to steal from? Probably not the Dragon's Approach deck. I'm thinking the green deck. Maybe we hit Cultivate? I don't know. See what D-Manny's got. Oh, my God. Zealous Conscripts, Dockside Forest. How long do we have to cast this thing? Until the end of your next turn. Hard to turn down a Dockside. Also, means that he doesn't have Dockside. And that is a card that he tends to beat me with a lot. So, I feel pretty good about that. I was having a discussion in the comments with someone. It was in a game a while back. Can't remember what was happening. But someone had Stolen Strategy in play. And I was talking about how, like, the cards you get from your opponents aren't always the best for your deck. Like, you know, there's a lot of times there's no synergy. But someone in the comments pointed out that, like, exiling things off the top of your opponent's deck means that they don't have access to it, and they probably really wanted some of those cards. So, Dockside is definitely one of those cards in his case. So yeah, I probably need to run this card a little bit more too. I see it get cast a lot, and it's just one of those cards that's like, it's always kind of useful. Like, there's either an artifact that's a problem, or you get a card from your opponents. And, you know, it's always doing something. There's a Decimate. We're going to change the target. Let's see. Ruby Medallion is target number 1. What's this thing? Glittering Stockpile, huh? Seems scary. We'll shoot it. Falcon Wrath Exterminator is number 2. We'll go for D-Manny's Commander. That thing's a problem when it stays in play. Who's losing the land right here? Ponycorn's losing the land. I feel bad about this, but we're going to go after our Asgard's land. There's a Ooh. More removal. Opponent's going to fire off a Deadly Rollick. They're going to pay this time, though. That makes me sad. And they're going to exile that Shaman. They wanted that Shaman for something, and they're thinking not. We got a spicy game going. D-Manny's going to tap some mana. There's an Athreos trigger in there, so unless someone pays life, they're going to target Asgard. There's a Mask of Memory. Yeah, that's helpful. Cast the Mask of Memory. Equip the Mask of Memory. Swing into Ponycorn. Mask trigger. We draw. There's some lands. Discard the Plains right here. Play the Core Haven. Got 5 total mana to work with. We'll get a little bit off the dockside. So let's get the dockside. We go up to 6 treasures. It's pretty good. Pretty good. We have 7 total mana. Let's get Icingdeath right here. We'll leave a couple treasures. Hope nothing goes wrong. Actually, based on what's happening, yeah, we'll leave the treasures. Erdwall Ripper coming in. Deals combat damage to a player. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. Yep. It's coming in our way. Bruse Tarl over to D-Manny. Oh, they're going to give a double strike. Yeah, it's a double strike. You can't block it profitably. So, I guess that's going to hit. You know, I feel a lot better with Dockside in play on our side than I do with it. I mean, I guess if they Hearth and Home, that's an issue. I guess it's a question of whether he draws a Hearth and Home or not. So, we'll see how that goes. We go down to 30. It gets pumped up. You know, we might block the next one, because the next one with double strike is going to be a lot of damage. Although, if we get the Blackblade Reforged equipped, we might have profitable blocks. So right now, based on what's going on, I would actually say that this deck is performing a little bit slower than some of the previous games that I've seen Fish pilot with it. Usually she's threatening to kill someone around turn 6, and we're just kind of getting set up. Probably still a few turns away from that, so... But we had kind of a slow hand. We didn't really have any ramp, but we're getting great value out of this Wandering Archaic. Swiftfoot Boots for opponent. A non-bow is destroying all the lands with a Blackblade Reforged. Combo is destroying all the lands with a Sun Titan in play. I think he played an Ancient Tomb. Yeah, he just played an Ancient Tomb. That's a good land right there, because he's behind. He's very behind. Said he's drawn all of his Mana Dork ramp, not his land ramp. We could lock him down with Linvala. We'll see what he's got right here. Halana and Alena back to play. That's a Mirror Crusader. Nice card. Didn't find a land. We do have a Mask of Memory to work with. Yeah, I mean, equip the Blackblade Reforged. I don't think D-Manny's gonna block, but I'm gonna send the Wandering Archaic over at him just because Ponycorn's already gonna be taking a giant hit here. On the attack. Yeah, this thing's a 10-9 with the Blackblade Reforged. Flying Vigilance. That's just kind of a nightmare. And I've seen this come up a lot. Like, it's just, I mean, this thing's a brick wall. It's a brick wall that kills you really quickly. Yeah, he takes the damage. That worked out. Mask trigger. 10 commander on opponent. Halvar Yosei. Oh my god. What are we getting rid of? Preferably things that we can get back with Sun Titan. Thinking maybe this Mirroring Crusader. Yeah, I think the Mirroring Crusader. Let's get Mangara. Let's cast the Wall of Omens. I noticed there is a bit of an ETB theme in this deck. We draw a Generous Gift. We do need to discard again. Do we get rid of this Catastrophe? I mean, I'm probably not going to cast it. I have to be in a very specific setting to want to blow up all the lands with this thing. And I don't think the Patreons in this game are that specific settings, so... our final opponent, by the way, is D-Manny piloting Halana and Alena Partners. One that we've seen a few times on the channel. It makes creatures huge. You know, it stays in play, it pumps things up, and they get out of hand really quickly. Trample will show up eventually, and large things kill you very quickly. I've talked about it before. Has a similar vibe to Xenagos, just goes about it differently. Ooh, still sending the 4/3. What do they have? Do we just feed the wall to it? I think we feed the wall to it. As far as the ETB theme in this deck, my gut feeling is that that might be trying to do a little too much. On the other hand, Hearth and Home is a card that can be easily tutored, so maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just an idiot talking nonsense here.
You know, if there's no ski at the end of the root word, then we would just be idiots saying nonsense.
Oh, that's the damnation. But I could definitely see the world... Well, we should probably copy it, just in case, right? Use the ability. I could definitely see the world in which the ETB stuff is trying to do too much, but with the ease that you can pull a Hearth and Home out in mono white, could also just be game winning, so take that for what it's worth. Sadly, we didn't get any draws with that Mangara before it went down. I was trying to hold the Mangara to dodge the removal, and that worked out terribly. Icingdeath to the command zone. We get an Icingdeath trigger, 2 Athreos triggers, and gonna put both Athreoses on us. I don't know what the lifelink situation is in this deck, but I'm just gonna pay, because... You know what? I'm not going to pay the second one. One, just because I like... we could pay it, but our life is starting to get a little low. But also, I just kind of like this deck. I know that their deck is like a teeny bit weaker than what Fish has going on here. Fish's decks are very tight and usually pretty strong, so we'll throw them just a little bit of a bone. It's been an absolutely brutal game for our opponents. That double Decimate was nasty. D-Manny's missing all of his lands, which isn't helping him. Also, that board wipe just crushed all of his ramp. There's a Desperate Ritual. Oh, he's been holding that. We could have been Could have been Wandering Archaic City. There's a Sir Carah. I know we could answer that with Linvala, but opponents are about 3 seconds from scooping this game, right? That's kind of where we're at. Oh, they stole our boots with the thing. That's annoying. Opponent gonna do some attacking over to Ponycorn. Hits with Sir Carah. I'm sure they're looking for a land. It is not a land, it's a Dragon's Approach. Worldly Tutor on the upkeep. Another Mana Dork. Eternal Witness, maybe? What do you get? Oh god, Eternal Witness dockside. I guess there aren't that many artifacts in play. Goes for Professional Facebreaker. One that I wanted to look at. Haven't really seen it yet, but looks very cool. Menace. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token, sacrifice a treasure, exile the top card of your library, you may play it this turn. There's an Endless Atlas, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just got to be Sun Titan right here, right? Sun Titan, get a Plains. Use the ability. Equip the Mask. That one's 2 to equip. The Ripper coming back. Oh no, feed the Swarm on Sun Titan. Sun Titan down. Sun Titan down. At least it did an exile. Don't know if there's a way to get it back. Erdwall Ripper coming our way. Yep, that's gonna get us. We have so many cards in hand, I have no idea how we're gonna get them out. We're a white deck, so we just don't make mana that way. This thing plus a Hearth and Home will get you a lot of mana in a hurry, but that's not where we are at the moment. We paid 6 to ramp a land. I mean, I guess they had a burner removal spell also, so I guess, you know, that's another component of it. But Sir Carah on the attack. I think that was back into Ponycorn. Yep, back into Ponycorn. Guy has a Demanding Dragon on top. They cannot afford to cast that, though. There's a Dragon's Approach. Uh-oh. Land Ritual. No, can they can't? I think they're short on the Ritual. Okay, that was just the Dragon's Approach for value. Surrock. If I told you there was a 4-mana legendary creature that gives another creature haste, what color would you guess it is? Green isn't the one I'm thinking of. Facebreaker over to Ponycorn. Yep. Gonna make a treasure token. Thank God a land. Play the land. We're actually a land behind the turn count. I don't know how that happened. Thought we were doing pretty good on that. If we take the Monarch, we won't really be able to protect it. So I think that's a recipe to just recast Icingdeath. Equip the Blackblade Reforged. Oh, nope, that costs 2. We'll equip the Frost Tongue then. Ravos Soul Tender. Oh yeah, they can get some stuff back with that. Also a flying blocker. Kind of a big deal. Hopefully this Icingdeath will, keeps the Erdwall Ripper away. I don't feel great about our mana situation, but I think we're actually ahead of all of our opponents. D-Manny's hurting. Asgard's hurting, and we're tied with Ponycorn, but we have a lot more cards in hand than Ponycorn, so. Sir Carah trigger. Sir Carah, 1 damage to a target. Gets a mountain. Plays a mountain. Dragon's Approach. Each opponent, woof. 3 more Sir Carah triggers. Land. 2 more Dragon's Approach. Dragon Tempest. Interesting. Facebreaker coming our way. It's got Menace. This thing over to Asgard. Can't block. Getting down there. I would love to find some lifelink. Is there a Luxodon Warhammer in this deck? No Luxodon. No Shadow Spear. There is an Umezawa that can gain you some life, but that doesn't tend to be the most optimal mode with that. Stonehoof Chieftain. That's a brutal card. Play this Myriad Landscape. We do have a Core Haven. Maybe we want to think about leaving this Core Haven up. Blackblade. Opponent has a flying block. Oh, right, we have Icingdeath. You know what? I killed D-Manny first a lot, so I'm going to let him have this one. We're going to go after Ponycorn right here. Icingdeath trigger. Tap the flyer. Make sure this thing doesn't have flying. We hit Mask of Memory trigger. Use the ability. Silence and Ghostly Prison. Oh, Ghostly Prison seems really good on this board. Discard the Endless Atlas. We're just so far away from using that. We already played a land, so that's good. Yeah, I like what Ghostly Prison says here. And then we can leave up Silence. Prevent some sort of Dragon's Approach catastrophe. Sir Carah trigger, yeah. Down to 16. Smoldering Egg. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, put a number of Ember counters on it equal to the mana spent. Then if it has 7 or more, remove them and transform. There's a Dragon's Approach. That's a red dragon. Life total's getting low. We're down to 9. This thing's got haste. D-Manny's down to 5. Wow. We are in a position where... No, never mind. We can cast Halvar. Pyroblast does not affect us at all. Locket of Yesterdays. Uh-oh. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card in the... Yeah, I'm not looking to mess with that. We're going to cast this Silence. I need to start running this card more. When you get into turns like this where you're like, oh god, you just silence. You silence and stop it dead. Or if you can see that like someone just had the big setup turn and they're going to have a really big turn when they untap. Silence in their upkeep, also really good for that. Surrock Huntcaller, yep. Puts haste on the Stonehoof Chieftain. D-Manny's staying back with the other 2. Kind of has to, yeah, we have the Ghostly Prison, so if he wants to do anything else. Opponent says, I'm in danger, GIF.
I'm in danger.
There's a marble diamond. That's a piece of ramp that we haven't seen all game. Play this Halvar. Halvar Trigger. All right, I forgot this thing is horrendous on Magic Online. Also, the clicking order on this one is the exact opposite with Arden, and I definitely messed that up the other day. Not super pleasant. Send this one into Asgard. Asgard said if we didn't silence and they didn't lose that one land, they probably would have killed us last turn. We tapped down their flyer. Yeah, like I said, like when you have this thing is much better than you give it credit for. Also, a great sort of tier. Same sort of idea. Essentially this, except you don't have to like have Icingdeath die first. Opponent goes down, -1. Draw with the Mask of Memory. Ancient Tomb. Ancient Tombs. Are we casting an Ancient Tomb? I'm gonna say yes, just in case of emergency. Like if we really need to play this Generous Gift or something. All right, let's just take a look at our mana here. We've got, can we cast an Esper Sentinel? Yes, I think we can. Cast an Esper Sentinel. And see what D-Manny's got for us. He's gonna need a lot of answers. Well, D-Manny says if we got Teferi's Protection or a removal spell, he's dead. Let's go for it. Let's see what he's got. That's a Bane of Progress. That is a Bane of Progress. Well then. He's definitely gonna make it interesting. How many things are we getting attacked with? I foresee a problem. Yeah, all of our good stuff gets blown up. Okay, let's think about this. Trample and Indestructible, we can't kill that one. This gives the other creatures Trample and Indestructible. We can Core Haven 1. I think we shoot the Bane of Progress, because we don't want that to come at us with Trample. And then I think we take our chances with the other ones. Oh, that's a lot of Trample. We can Core Haven the other. Okay, I think that's the play. Let's go to combat first and get the haste on there so they don't haste the token that Generous Gift gives them. Yeah, Generous Gift this thing. Use the Ancient Tomb to do it. Let's dance, D-Manny. What do you got? He's sending it all. Oh, there was a moment. Okay, yeah, the trample. It takes a second for that trample to kick in. We could have responded to that, but I think that's fine. Untap the... Take this thing out of combat. Opponent's got 7 damage coming at us. We have 7 life, so we do need to block. That one's got Menace, so that one's going to be tough to block. I think we just need our commander to survive, so Halvar's going under the bus. Facebreaker trigger, there's a treasure, but they are not protected in the air. Land on top. Plays the land, we play the land. Do we need to do anything? I don't think so, we can just go straight to combat here. Send in the Icingdeath. Down he goes. Did we just kill 3 players with Icingdeath? I think that's the thing that just happened. Weird game. That double decimate early was brutal. And really, I think most of this game was a story about Wandering Archaic, and particularly that double decimate. But also, we did get some other little bits of value off of it as well. Like that Dockside helped us out a lot because our mana wasn't great this game. We didn't get to use the Catastrophe. There was definitely a point where we could have cast it, but I don't think it made a ton of sense in that moment because the green deck had Mana Dorks out, and those Mana Dorks are going to rebuild much faster than anything we were doing. So one card that's notably absent is Steel Shaper's Gift, and I guess also Stoneforge Mystic. I know both of those are kind of expensive, and I think this is based off of Fish's paper list. But those would be 2 upgrades if you're looking to push this deck even more. You can also use Relic Seeker as a budget Stoneforge Mystic. I think a few more equipment tutors are probably going to be a good idea. I like to have a pretty healthy amount of equipment tutors when I play Voltron, so that's just me. Like I said, I have mixed feelings on the whole ETB theme that kind of exists within the deck. It's 25 creatures, which is probably it's a little higher than what I typically run in Voltron. If this were my deck, I'd probably cut 3 to 5 creatures, add a couple more tutors. I do like the additions of Deafening Silence, Rule of Law, and Silence into the deck. These give you game on the stack. Like that Dragon's Approach deck very nearly got us, and Silence saved our butt. So I guess D-Manny would have died before that attack with the Silence play, but also D-Manny made it super close at the ending. Can't understate that. I thought we were just going to walk away with it from there. That Bane of Progress was huge. What were we at, like 3 or something like that? But yeah, Icingdeath is a cool little commander. Fish has got a pretty well-built deck here. And if you're thinking about mono-white Voltron, don't overlook Icingdeath. I know Halvar is a card, and Halvar is very ridiculous. You can build some very fast Halvar decks. But Icingdeath is also pretty legit. Like, that Frost Tongue trigger is so good. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel, vote on which decks I play next, or if you want to get some really good games of Spell Table, be sure to check out my Patreon at the link below. And be sure to check out my other Dinosaur Week videos.